right here, we are in the market, all right? And this is USD card chart, all right? Now, I want to assume that we have been able to go through some training on how to trade the BTMM. Probably all you need is to perfect your entry, right? So now this is what we are saying. You will be getting setups form right at these key levels, right? Like right here, Asian market taps into the previous day's low, and then it pushes all the way up before we get the market to come back again, tap it, and bounce back up. Now, if you look again keenly, here we have the high of London session. It got swept and the market pushed down. Here we have the high of Asian market. It got swept and the market went down. Here we have the high of Asian market. London comes and sweeps it and then pushes down. Here we have yesterday's low. The market sweeps it before it actually goes up. So in other words, these are going to be key levels when you're trading. It will be able to tell you where exactly the market makers will most likely issue you a setup. So this is high of Asian market. This is high of London. Right above it is where we get the structure to go short, right? So in other words, even without looking at all the other indicators, we already know how to identify a setup using these two key levels. Now, yesterday we had a very beautiful trade on USD card that played out very well today. So yesterday the market was going down, of course, and I was expecting a buy at this level for reasons I may be able to explain later on. But a double bottom was issued right at the low of New York session, and this was my entry trigger right here, and stop loss went below the low of the day, and the trade actually has paid out about 60 pips today, right? So in other words, what we are saying, you must be able to look for those opportunities in the right area, at the right level, and at the right time. Now, here is yesterday's high. It gets swept and the market pushes down. Why does this happen? It technically tells you that the high and the lows are where the areas where the volume in the market is. And so if you now put yourself at that level, you are actually giving yourself an opportunity to identify a high probability setup in the market. And you will never go wrong with it. As long as you're able to tell what's the market bias. Is it up or is it down? If again you have a challenge with these two, then the strategy here may be confusing a bit, okay? Because you don't know whether you're looking for a buy or a sell. And sometimes things will present themselves differently. Now, for instance, we are going to just look at this chart and try and see a certain day that was probably broken and the market continued selling, all right? Well, you could have been looking for a buy or a sell. Because that happens. And you have to be able to tell what exactly is going on, right? You have to be able to tell what exactly is going on in the market. Now, like I said, here we can see we had a nice setup being issued right at yesterday's high. We can all see that double top right there, and the market really paid nicely, right? Well, we can see here out of Asian market, the market broke the low of yesterday and continued selling just to buy at the low of Asian low. So we get our double top right there and the market pushes up. Now, you see how I'm connecting the two indicators. I'm not trying to force my setups. I'm waiting for them to confirm, first of all, in the right time and at the right level. The same thing is carried out the following day, or rather after another day of trading. And you can see here, we get a very nice setup and the market pushes higher. Now, in this case, we are looking for bullish trades. We are not looking for sells, even though sells may also work out, like in this case here. So here we get a buy setup and the market pushes up. But you see here, the high, yesterday's high was broken and the price continued pushing higher. So you ask yourself why? It's because the market was generally bullish. Okay? So you have to be able to tell what is the bias in the market so that you know what kind of an opportunity you would be looking for. So if you want to trade this market from here, you could have taken this buy here You could have taken this buy here. You could have taken this buy here. And all those are three trades that would have paid you successfully. This here paid you. This one paid you. This one paid you. But now I want you to see something. These trades, you're not just getting them anyhow. This trade, you got it during London. This one, you got it during London. This one, you got it during London. What does that tell you? We are not forcing trades during Asian markets. We are not forcing trades during Asian market. So you have to avoid that. All right. And then let's assume it's this reversal here. It happened right at the yesterday's high, and the high of London session is where the double top was formed and the market reversed. Right? Very interesting. Very interesting. So in other words, these two indicators will be able to tell you when and where to actually be looking for trades. Okay, so let's look at live examples of trades we have executed this week with my Telegram community. And by the way, if you're not in my Telegram community, the link is right below this video. Be sure to join so that you can get those setups and news and market analysis every day. I post every day. You'll get free signals, you'll get market information, market data, and you'll be able to align yourself properly. I'm not going to charge you anything in that group. All right. So let's look at this trade here. From the analysis here, we can tell the market was technically bullish. We can see the market is bullish. So we get this peak formation low right here, okay? And we get level one push, okay? We get our level one push, which was issued right here. And then the market pulls back and resets. So here is our peak formation low. Let me try and reduce this. Sorry. So here is our peak formation low. This is our level one here. We are looking for a continuation of the trend. If you go to 1 hour, we will have this particular W formation, right? This particular W formation that is formed right here. This is on 1 hour. But now the most important thing is for you to be able to identify the low of the day and how it was plotted the following day. And the market came to the same level, right? Tapped it severally, and then it played along the same level before we got this continuation for another push, and another push, right? So this trade was issued right at the low of Monday. So this here, the two black lines, is our weekly Asian range. We all know what that is. If you don't know, then you might need to do some research. So here we can see a double bottom being formed at the lower the low of the weekly range. And the same is repeated on Tuesday before we had a push on Wednesday and on Thursday. Right? So what does that tell you? These key levels are being used by the market makers to actually manipulate you. So if you look at this market right here, the market was saying it's bearish because the moving averages, of course, they're telling you to sell, to sell, to sell. But if you're trading BTMM and you know what level we are in and what we are looking for, there's no way you would have fallen for this trap. You would have been looking for buy opportunities right at the right place and at the right time. So these two setups were issued during London and New York session the following day. So this is the initial high and low of the week. This is on Monday. And then on Tuesday, the low of Monday was retested, and then the trend was issued on Wednesday and Thursday, right? So today is Friday. The market has just opened, and we are looking forward to actually getting another opportunity in case the market is going to present that with it. But now again, let's look at GBP USD. There's a trade we took a sell on GBP USD, and it has actually paid very well. It has paid very well. So I remember I was in class with some students and we were discussing GBP USD. So GBP USD hit the last year's high. And I want to show you why it is really, really important for you to do what we call higher time frame analysis, right? And it doesn't matter, whatever strategy you are trading, you must be able to identify these things. So this was last year's high, and GBP USD gave us a setup right there. So this is last year's high, sorry. Now at last year's high, after pound dollar pushed all the way to that level, you can see they came to the same level, this white line here. You can see how the double top was issued, right? You can see how the double top was issued. So the market sweeps it and we get our second leg right there. So you could have entered here, or you could have taken this short right there, and you had several entries, right? So I remember I took this trade right here, and I stayed in this trade until the following day, right? I knew that this is going to sell. And the entire week, the market actually has just been selling. It has just been selling. So I'll put that trade right here so that you can see it. It's not a joke. This market paid us some good amount of money. So as you can see here, we had the trade issued right here, all right? And all the week we just been dropping until today. We just been dropping. So this entire move, you caught it right here. And that meant that me being able to identify previous year's high was critical for me to squeeze in this entire move. All right, this entire move, because that is where liquidity was last year to push the prices down. So when the prices come back up there again, then I was to expect something to happen, some sort of reaction. And this particular setup was issued during Asian market. So London session, they gave you another entry, New York session, and look at this. So during London, they stop hunt the manipulation box with an M formation. They give you an entry. New York session, they give you a fat M formation. You could have taken this trade right there. And you stay in the trade with stop loss right above high of New York session. And you stay in that trade for the following day. And this was a very nice setup. So anyway, that's how we use these two indicators to be able to identify high probability setup. If you're in my group, you know that we smash the markets every day. Every time there's a setup, I share a signal and we are able to get some profits together with my Telegram community. So thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you haven't watched all my videos about indicators and I explain how to use each indicator, so if you have some time, go through each video and you'll be able to learn a lot about how to trade the BTMM strategy. So until next time, I really appreciate your time. Take care of yourself and stay profitable.